Welcome back. Just breaking 18 hours ago, Democrats are panicking because their secret website has just been hacked, and it shows a lot of incriminating evidence in that website. Threatening to kill public members on Trump's Congress and everything, the Democrats are. So let's go ahead and get into the video, shall we? Enjoy.
Got hacked, and they even had a website pretty much talking about stop ICE, and then not only that, everybody who was associated, with this website, their numbers, their addresses, everything has been sent to the government, and now they are freaking out. We got so much to get to today, but like I said, they are panicking, and not only that, Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison is being dragged in to testify under oath on March 4th about the massive fraud in the state. So now they don't know what they're doing. That's the reason why I told y'all before that Tim Walz decided, you know what, let me just go ahead and bend the knee to President Trump. Maybe President Trump will just leave me alone. So like, no, we ain't going for that. President Trump was not going to go for that because Tim Walz talked to President Trump good on the phone. Then soon he get out the phone, he get up on the camera, he start talking crap about President Trump again. So like I said, we got a lot to get to. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody showing so much support. And shout out to the ones that always watches the entire video. I appreciate all of you, all right? So, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight into this. And we'll get to where their website got hacked at in just a little bit. So make sure you stay to the end because you don't want to miss this. So if you see right here about Mario, he said Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison are being dragged in to testify under oath on March 4th about massive fraud in the state. Commerce say Walz and Ellison knew what was going down, and Ellison even met with the people involved. Of course, I've been saying this for the longest that Tim Walz knew what was going on. Keith Ellison knew what's been going on. Jacob Fry, Ilhan Omar, because they was all pocketing money they stealing from the American people. And we all know that.
Under the nose of Ilhan Omar, Tim Walz, Attorney General Keith Ellison, we see a web of connections between them and those directly involved in the fraud. For example, Ilhan Omar alleged enabling introducing the 2020 Meals Act, which was ultimately subject to fraud. Held a campaign victory party at the Safari restaurant. That's where one of the men who run that restaurant has associations to the convicted individuals. And then there's Tim Walz. House Oversight Investigation role in his role as governor. Or Keith Ellison, the Attorney General. His job is to enforce the law in Minnesota, but instead he's getting donations after meeting with the Feeding Our Future representatives. The Feeding Our Future, the biggest known yet part of this entire theft ring. The executive director of Black Lives Matter, by the way, over in Oklahoma City, has now been charged with wire fraud and money laundering. The organization raised more than $5 million in 2020, but she is accused of pocketing more than half of that instead of using it to bail out people for protesting in support of BLM. No, she pocketed, allegedly, most of that money. Oh, by the way, here she is. You want to see a picture of her? Here she is. Notice who she's in the picture with.
Ilhan Omar.
Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. But hey, it's just the system, right? Let's bring in
And that's what I was talking about. Ilhan Omar knew exactly what was going on in Minnesota, and that's why they love Minnesota. That's why we were like, we love it here in Minnesota. We'll never leave Minnesota. The reason why Ilhan Omar says that is because that's where they get away with all the fraud. At least that's what they was getting away with. When you got Ilhan Omar, that's a Democrat, Keith Ellison, Jacob Fry, Tim Walz, all of them are Democrats. All of them hate President Trump, and all of them been stealing from the American people. And that's why they always say, we love it here in Minnesota. And I bet y'all do. So, and listen to this crap coming from Tim Walz. Like I said, we're about to get to that their website being hacked. They say Tim Walz compares millions of Americans who voted to deport criminal illegal aliens to Nazis and wants to re-educate them. So this man saying he wants to re-educate us, but yet he lied about his military background. He lied about the Tiananmen Square. He lies about everything, but yet he wants somebody to sit down and listen to what he got to say. Listen to this, y'all.
We have generational trauma at attempt to destroy our state like nothing in our state's history. And once it's over, what they found out in South Africa and other places is you might bring back the guy who did the shooting, you might put him on trial. But I think everybody recognizes the reason we got to this point was an ideology that's far bigger, that we have to understand this. I mean, after World War II in Germany, we had America House to reteach Germans about democracy, to teach them about rule of law. Maybe we need America House here, once again, to tell us about what is.
This man is a clown for saying something like that. And this is what I'm talking about. And if y'all notice, when President Trump took his phone call, President Trump said, he said, man, look how Tim Walz talks on the phone. He's nice, he's polite. But then when he get in front of them cameras, he just another whole person again. He just that leftist Democrat who hates Donald Trump, who talks down on him and say stuff like this. So Tim Walz wants to re-educate us. And look at what it said. Tim Walz compares millions of Americans who voted to deport criminal illegal aliens to Nazis, and he himself wants to re-educate us. Just ridiculous. And not only that, you know how President Trump kept saying Democrats need to keep the temperature down, turn the temperature down, stop with these death threats. And then look what Scott Jennings wrote. Scott Jennings said, damn messaging today. Tim Walz publicly fantasizing about a civil war. Krasner says hunt down federal law enforcement like Nazis. And Jeffrey say a cabinet secretary needs to be put on ice. That is a death threat. She need to be put on ice? What does that mean, Hakeem? And let's listen to Hakeem Jeffries saying this, y'all.
It's disgraceful. She's got to go. We are dead serious. She needs to be put on ice permanently.
He said, seriously, she got to go. She needs...
Hakeem Jeffries this minute threatened somebody to kill him. Put somebody on ice permanently, you went to take him out. And this Donald Tree Obama this minute he wants somebody killed. Get to the video.
Permanently. And this is what he's saying about DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. She got to be put on ice permanently. Same way Joe Biden said that when he was saying we need to put a bullseye on President Trump. And then, months later, he, assassination attempts. Then another assassination attempt. Let's listen to this again, talking about a woman, talking about Secretary Kristi Noem, that she needs to be put on ice.
It's disgraceful. She's got to go. We are dead serious. She needs to be put on ice permanently.
Oh.
She's got to go.
Mm.
And by the way, she's not the only one.
Oh, she's not the only one. So it's more Republicans that need to be put on ice that needs to go, according to Hakeem Jeffries. And even Elon Musk responded to this. He said, if it's war Walz wants, it's war he will get. And this is what Elon Musk said. Clandestine said, so much for lowering the temperature and calming down the rhetoric. Nothing has changed whatsoever. They still fully intend to fight immigration to the very end. Why? Because they don't care about the American people. Hakeem Jeffries don't care about the American people. Tim Walz, Democrats don't care. That's the reason why they want to use illegal aliens to help them get in office. That's the reason why they want illegal aliens. They want them here so they can get their vote, because they know the American people is not voting for this crap that they got going on. So they're trying to use illegal aliens to get back in office. And that's why they're so mad that President Trump is deporting them. Because if President Trump deport them, then they can't vote for the Democrats. And that's the reason why Hakeem Jeffries, Tim Walz, Ilhan Omar, that's why they all panicking. They don't want that to happen. How did, Ilhan Omar get in office? Because all the Somalis in Minnesota voted for her. Why? Because of all this fraud she's going to let them get away with. Because maybe if they got somebody else in there in Minnesota, they wouldn't let them get away with all that fraud. But Ilhan Omar will. And she's cashing in herself on it. So, this is what President Trump said right here. He said, breaking, President Trump has just instructed DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, and all federal agents to be very forceful against all leftist rioters, effective immediately after a federal building was ambushed in Oregon. So let's read what President Trump said in its totality. President Trump said, I have instructed Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, that under no circumstances are we going to participate in various poorly run Democrat cities with regard to their protests and or riots unless and until they ask for help. We will, however, guard and very powerfully so any of all federal buildings that are being attacked by these highly paid lunatics, agitators, and insurrectionists. Please be aware that I have instructed ICE and or Border Patrols to be very forceful in this protection of federal government property. There will be no spitting in the faces of our officers. There will be no punching or kicking the headlights of our cars. There will be no rock or brick thrown at our vehicles or at our patrol warriors. If there is, those people will suffer in equal or more consequence. In the meantime, by copy of this statement, I am informing local government, so I did in Los Angeles when there were rioting at the end of the Biden term, that you must protect your own state and local property. In addition, it is your obligation to also protect our federal property, building, parks, and everything else. We are there to protect federal property only as a backup, and that is local and state responsibility to do so. Last night in Eugene, Oregon, these criminals broke into a federal building and did great damage, also scaring and harassing the hardworking employees. Local police did nothing in order to stop it. We will not let this happen anymore. If local governments are unable to handle the insurrectionists, agitators, and anarchists, we will immediately go to the location where such help is requested and take care of the situation very easily and methodically. Just as we did in Los Angeles riots 1 year ago, where the police chief said that we couldn't have done it without the help of the federal government. Therefore, to all complaining local governments and governors and mayors, let us know when you are ready, and we will be there. But before we do so, you must use the word please. Remember that I stated in the strongest of language to beware. ICE, Border Patrol, or if necessary, our military will be extremely powerful and tough in the protection of our federal property. We would not allow our courthouses, federal buildings, or anything else under our protection to be damaged in any way, shape, or form. I was elected on a policy of border control, which has now been perfected. National security and law and order. That's what America wants, and that's what America is getting. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump, and that's what President Trump had to say. So, another thing that I want to show y'all right here. See, like I said, these Democrats it's like now they just out in the open. They just pretty much admitting everything now. Now look at this. Even now, you see Elon Musk already said insurrection. So salute to Cam Higby as well. So Cam Higby said that Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson makes clear that her city doesn't need signal chats. Instead, she's going to mobilize the actual police pretty much like she's going to, instead of signal chats, she's going to use the police to do what they was doing in Minneapolis, with the signal chat, getting police to read license plate to see if they federal agents. So she's going to try to use police. Instead, she's going to mobilize the actual police force to do what Signal Networks do in Minneapolis. She would even have the Seattle Police Department relay intel gathered on federal agents to community partners and ban usage of city property by agents. Katie is a former professional protester. She is manipulating her office as mayor of one of the most powerful cities in the country to aid and abet domestic terrorists today and resist the federal government. And you can see, here go the steps right here. If y'all would like to read all of this right here, you will see exactly what's going on. And she put right here, today I announced an initial set of actions to protect city residents in the face of increased federal immigration enforcement activity. And y'all can read all of this right here. This is ridiculous. Now they just putting it out here now. They just putting it out here. My goodness. So here we go right here is where, they got hacked. So they had a website that was called stopice.net. And then when you go to the website, this right here is what it said. It got right here, we were not kidding. We sent your names, logins, passwords, and locations to a bunch of government agencies. Now they did say some right-wingers hacked them and hacked their website. Pretty much sent out everybody's name that was on this, their logins, their passwords, their locations. Everything has been exposed. All the Democrat that was in on this right here has been exposed, and these right-wingers who hacked them have already sent all the information to the government agencies. So let's look at this again. We sent your names, logins, passwords, and locations to a bunch of government agencies. Sherman Austin is a terrible coder. So are R.C. Conception and Matt Barrett. So now this is the reason why they are panicking. So this right here just got them looking crazy right now. My God, you can see right here, Stop ICE Raise Alert Network. So you telling me, you know, that they made a whole website called Stop ICE? Just ridiculous. Look at this, stopice.net. What? And now they are panicking because it has been exposed and they got hacked by some right wingers who put it out. Now President Trump knows all about it. Tim Walz is panicking. He didn't want this out. The same way he didn't want the signal chat to come out in Minneapolis, you know, when he pretty much went ahead and bent the knee to President Trump. So, like I said, this right here is just what's going on in Minnesota right now. Americans in Minneapolis are now erupting on leftist anti-ICE agitators who are taking the roads hostage and blocking drivers. And then you got people saying, let me go. The house I'm going to is right here. So now you got these liberals, these leftists, you know, ICE agitators pretty much blocking the roadway, won't even let normal people go home. I guess they're trying to stop people to see if they like ICE or something.
I know, and it's nothing to do with your work or you personally. It's just a safety issue. We don't let cars through once we have a big crowd like this. I'm sorry about the.
So this guy saying he gotta go, and they up here, bruh. This is like, listen to what this guy in the vehicle said. This guy's trying to do his job, man.
I know. I know, and it's nothing to do with your work or you personally. It's just a safety issue. We don't let cars through once we have a big crowd like this. I'm sorry about the inconvenience.
Right here and let me go that way. I'm not trying to go that way. I'm going that way.
You can go that way on 3032. Is it in between here you gotta go?
The house I'm going to is right past this block.
Right past that
Why am I about to go all the way around? I'm not going towards them if y'all staying where I can't go that way.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, listen.
I'm trying to turn right.
Alright. I'll get behind the truck so no one else tries.
I'm not about to go over there.
This is crazy. This is crazy.
Frustrated neighbor, just tired of the activists blocking the streets
Folks
here
is tired of this stuff, man.
Minneapolis. This is not going to be ending. You have this fella.
That's bullshit there. These dumbasses prevent people from doing their jobs. All because they want fraud to keep going on. It's stupid. But that was y'all Democrats get for voting for shit like that. This is the reason why Republicans don't play games no more. More Republicans are going to come forward because the Democrat Party is not going to have no more like be voting for them more because of this damn shit right here going on. That's all I got to say.